PhD in personal financial planning from Kansas State University in the USA. He completed the advanced management program at Harvard Business School and is a certified financial planner, certified financial risk manager, and chartered alternative investment analyst. Last but not least, Dr. Frank has cumulative 25 years experience in financial service. He is an executive of financial wellness and advisory at Nedbank and is a faculty member at the University of Pretoria's Gibbs Gordon Institute of Business Science. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax. It's about to get hot. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Embalenhle. Let's show some love to Dr. Frank. Yeah. Dr. Frank in the building. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Hey, any. Let's go. Any. It's Dr. Frank, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Frank in the building. Let's go! It's Dr. Frank, ladies and gentlemen.
What a warm and wonderful welcome. I love tea, you know. What an amazing opportunity. And for me, and really for us at Nedbank, as you heard from Lizzie on the video, really getting a sense of the impact business can do in communities, right? We are privileged to every day go to where we work as part of Nedbank and have this sense of, I'm doing something bigger than myself, right? I'm touching lives. And for me in particular, with the opportunity to talk about money, we know money is so central to our lives, right? And so to just say one or two things around money that help others just makes me feel, I am doing my little bit to make South Africa a better place that we all want it to be. So, when you talk about money, for me, by the way, all that intro, what it tells you, say, ish, this guy's old. So, with age comes wisdom. So, when I talk to you about money, I'm not talking about money because I have a PhD or I've studied how and what people do with their money. Yes, that helps a little bit. But I'm really talking to you as a person like you who has engaged with this thing that we call money and has made mistakes. Who doesn't? Right? So one of the things that's so interesting, and I want you to reflect on it, is no one prepares us adequately to manage money. A lot of us, we get better from the school of hard knocks, right? But it's also kind of weird, right? Money is so important, it's so central, yet we often don't get an opportunity to really formally learn how do you deal with money. So here's where I want to start. We heard earlier, there are these 5 questions. In fact, there were 4, then they became 5, then they became 6. Did you see that? One of them was, what is your story? I'm just going to add one word. What is your money story? What is your money story? We all have a money story. And I want to say the following, that we may not know what that story is, But what I know for sure is the following. And my buddies helped me prepare. Yes, I'm very prepared. I've got a little bit of money here. And in case you're wondering, the color is what's important. You know, we Nedbank, so this is our color, right? And so I've got 20 bucks here. I want to tell you, our relationship with money, it's not this. It's not the digits that we see in the bank account. I want to tell you, everyone has a money story because we all sit back and money means something. Not this that I'm touching here. It may mean power. It may mean freedom. It may mean security. It may mean status. Right? It may mean love. It means many things to us. So that's one thing I want to offer you to say. I want you to reflect on, what does money mean to me? What does it represent? Because when we spend time reflecting on what money represents, a number of things will follow. Right? And I want to illustrate this point, then I'll move. I mean, you can see, it's also green, but I think my sneakers are quite awesome. I mean, can you see them? It's Converse. Why is it Converse? Why is it no name brand? Why is it no name brand? Because I say to myself, you know what? I work hard for my money. You know, I want something that represents me. I want to buy this pair of sneakers, right? So do you see, there is something that drives what we do with our money. Power, status, love, freedom, right? And there's nothing wrong with it, but there's power in understanding that. That's the first thing I want to offer. The second thing is, this thing called money, I don't know about you, it's full of emotions. I mean, good people, we cannot talk about money without talking about emotions. Sometimes we are stressed, we are worried, we are anxious, we are afraid. Right? Those are all emotions. By the way, negative emotions, right? So when you understand what's driving what you do with money, you realize, it might be this, or it might be in a bank account. But actually what's happening here, there's a lot around emotions that we're dealing with here. For entrepreneurs, am I going to sell my products and get enough revenue? If I sell on credit, am I going to be paid? If I want to grow my business, am I going to win the pitching competition so that I get 50,000 and grow my business? Do you see all the emotions that come with that, right? What's your money story? Do you understand money is about emotions? Let me unpack one of the biggest challenges in our lives that brings lots of emotions and has to do with money. Many years ago. Remember I told you, hey, all these things just tells you this guy's old. So, yo, Bafouet. Yeah, no, everyone has a story. We all come far. You know, I'm thinking, many years ago, I had a small place there, Clifton Heights in Braamfontein. And I was drowning in debt. First job, just been working for a couple of years, supporting my family, and I ended up with so much. In other words, I owed banks quite a lot of money, given what I was earning at the time. And so, you know, the emotions that come when you owe, but you're struggling to pay. Right? Let me tell you the ones that used to come to me. Hey, I can't even manage money properly. It goes in, 2 days later it's gone. You judge yourself. You angry at yourself. You don't even know how did I end up here. Right? You feel ashamed that there's something wrong with what I'm doing with money. Right? So I was in that space, and then I decided, no, let me solve the problem. I've done it. I don't know who hasn't done it yet, but I just want, my boss is here also. I hope I won't be in trouble. But, you know, I didn't say during the interviews when they hired me a few years ago. I went, took my ID book, took my bank card, went to Jorison Street. There were people there who gave you money. We call them abomashonists. You know, the ones who take I've been there. They gave me 10,000. And sometimes you go from, is it the frying pan into the fire? Things go to waste. And when you don't pay them, they threaten you, right? You feel like, hey, you might lose your life because of this 10,000, right? So one of the biggest challenges as individuals that we face in South Africa right now is that many people, including the people here, we sit and we say, I have too much debt. It's not me saying it. We did a survey last year, Netfin Health Monitor. 4 in 10 South Africans told us, not us telling them as a bank, they told us, I have too much debt. Which means you're stressed, you're worried, you're frustrated. Let me tell you what happens when you have too much debt and how it might affect your ambitions as an entrepreneur. And I'm going to talk from my own experience, okay? So I owe this bank, and then I owe this machinist. Number one, they call you. Hey, we start not picking that phone. We don't take those calls. They were giving me that money. Now bang harasa. Don't we do that? We're now angry at them, but we owe them. Number one, before it. When we go and get a loan, we are entering into an agreement. We are making a promise. I will pay it back. Baba Spuza, it's not good if they are bored when they say, what date do you want to pay? Guys, they are very busy. People work at the bank. I work at the we're busy. It's not, we just, I'll sell it the 1st or the 15th or 20th. No! That date matters. We want our money on that date. You are promising to give our money on that date. When you don't give our money, you're breaking promise. Pinky promise. You are breaking it. Right? What happens when we break that promise? The bank is caring. It's not there to harass. It phones you nicely and says, we see the debit order ran. Hey, we got nothing. Could you make a plan, please? That's what they're phoning to say. Then they call you again. And then we don't pick the calls. What happens? It's a transaction. You are not fulfilling your obligation. Now we say, no. We have to do something about it. And the sad part, what often happens is maybe the bank calls and now is going to repossess the car. Or if it's a personal loan, they are now going to report you to a credit bureau and you have a record that you borrowed money, but you didn't pay. So what I'm illustrating is this. We often don't realize by not picking that call. In fact, before you even pick that call, by not being proactive and going to the bank, you say, I have a few problems before it. Things are not going well. I will not be able to pay you on time. What can you do for me? What arrangement can we come to? If you don't do that, what happens? You end up with bank blacklisted. Who doesn't say that? At some point, I was also there, 2002, the credit bureau. Hey, before it. But at least I'm here to testify I worked on it. Right? And so, please know, when you enter an agreement that says, give me a personal, it doesn't matter how much. You're promising to pay on that date that you said. Why does this matter? Particularly for entrepreneurs. It matters a lot. Before I get there, let me also tell you, yesterday I got a call and they've got very clever. You block these numbers, 087, what, you block all of them, right? You've got Truecaller. Hey, they always change their numbers. I had one yesterday. Those automated, those ones, I don't love them. And then you've got this voice. Debt relief. Are you struggling with your debt? You know, just that sentence. Then you, and then the next one comes. We can reduce it by 50%. Press 7. Then we'll help you. Right? Have you received those calls? Press 1. And often what happens? Right? You press 1. You press 7. You send your ID. You think they're going to help you. Most of the time we found you, good people, you end up, without you knowing, in debt counseling. Who knows what debt counseling is? Debt review, debt counseling. Don't be shy, it's a safe place. Debt review, debt counseling. Hey, before it, let me tell you. Debt counseling. Hey! Yo. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just want to tell you. It is one of those things in life, before it. You don't just jail your fuka one day, debt counseling. Hey, help me, 50%. No. Because you can't be following danger and they say, hey, take me out. I don't want to be in this thing anymore. No. You don't go out like that. It's a serious legal obligation. You are saying, I am struggling to pay all those that I owe. Banks, clothing accounts, phone. You're putting your hands up. Help me. And then it's registered at the court. Right? It's put on the credit bureau. Every time we put your ID number, we see you are under debt review. You cannot access credit anymore. It is a serious commitment. And we as Nedbank, we have realized, just like the call that I got yesterday, there is more and more of those calls because it is tough for consumers financially at the moment. And so you end up thinking they are going to help me, yet it will complicate your life. May I ask you, little bit wise, I want to say, when someone says, I will save you 50%, you owe 10,000. Hey, I'm going to make it 5,000. Did you hear? How? How do you do it? There's no money in here that's going to come from the air. We work for it. How do you do it? You must ask, how do you do it? Two things are going to happen when you ask how. Number one, they may realize, oh, this one is knowledgeable. They just drop the call. They don't want to carry on. Because they are looking for someone who doesn't know. The moment you say, how do you do it? Right? They might just not want to carry on the conversation. Or they carry on, they explain how they do it, but they don't explain ever mentioning debt counseling, debt review. Now that we have told you, they explain. You say, I hear you. Are you guys debt counseling? Are you going to put me in debt review? You must ask. Because once you are there, you have committed to a legal agreement. And so you cannot just decide, I don't want it anymore. So there are a lot of calls that are coming. Please watch out. Right? In addition, what else have we seen at Nedbank? Hey, Bafwet. We have seen another one. I don't know if you have heard it. But they say, you know what? You can go and get a loan at Nedbank or any of our competitors. Quickly, get a loan. After you get that loan, you don't have to pay it. Just come. We put you in debt review. Our clients have told us. They were approached, and this was the strategy. But wait, we're talking to entrepreneurs here. Let me tell you. As an entrepreneur, you hate these amazing businesses. When you start, right? I also started somewhere long time ago, selling fruits and veg. I know a little bit about what it means to be an entrepreneur. When you start, your business is you. It hasn't grown yet, right? You're doing everything. CEO, you're running it. You also sales. You're also running the finance. Hey, I even remember when I was running a business. Before it, I need to print brochures. Hey, me long, you're a headline to go and print. There's no one to send. Hey, a computer is not working. There's no IT department to phone. You must figure out what's happening with your laptop. So it's tough. Don't make it worse. Do not make it worse. Because we look at you as bankers. You coming, you want funding, or any other, CEDA, whoever does funding, NYTA, right? Part of it, they're looking at you, the individual. But for it, can you imagine you are blacklisted? Imagine the impact on your entrepreneurial journey. You are blacklisted. Blacklisted means that person, hey, run away. That is not a trustworthy person. They were given money by someone, or they took clothes on account, or they had a credit card. They didn't pay on, that's what it's saying, but for it. Blacklisting means at some point, we know it can be retrenching, whatever. The bottom line, it's warning others about you. Mm-hmm. And imagine, you are an entrepreneur, you want to grow your business. Do you see the problem? So please watch out. Anything that sounds too good to be true. What is it? It is too good to be true. You work hard for your money. You heard earlier. We must ask ourselves what question? How do you make the money as an entrepreneur? How can you just listen to someone saying to you, I will reduce your debt by 50%, and you don't ask them, how do you do it? Right? So please don't impact your entrepreneurial journey by doing the following. Let's summarize. Number one, we all know at some point we need to access loans. There's nothing wrong with that, number one. But when we do that, we are going into a legal obligation. We promise to repay on a certain date. Let's try to do that. When we can't, let's be proactive. Let's go to them, just like you do to Makelwana. We often go and we get something from Makelwana. Hey, Makelwana, I'm no longer able to give you as I promised on this day. We must do the same with banks, right? Why? Because we want to protect our credit history, particularly people in this room as entrepreneurs. Then I'm also saying, watch out for people promising things that are not true. We quickly put you into debt review or debt counseling. No, there's no quick, there is quickly putting you. There is no quickly coming out. It can take 5 years. It can take 7 years. Watch out. Number 3, please don't fall into this trap. The very same debt counselors, we've seen their new style, where they are phoning people, say, do you want a loan? Can get a loan. Then contact us after you get a loan. We pay, we put you into debt review, and you don't have to pay it back. No, there's no such thing. There is no such thing, right? So let's finish. Everyone has a money story. That story often is what determines what you do with your money, whether you plan, whether you shop with a list and end, right? Understand that story. Understand the obligation with the financial institution. And most importantly, any entrepreneur, for them to succeed, evidence of managing money well is very important. Where do we get that evidence? We get it in your credit score. So let's finish off by encouraging every one of you, by show of hands, who has accessed their credit report before? It's out there in the big internet. As Nedbank, we can give you, other banks can give you. Well done to those who have. If you haven't, please access your credit through your bank, through TransUnion, through Experience. There are so many ways, through ClearScore, to get your credit score. You want to run your business with confidence that if I ever need money, they can give me, because my credit history or my credit record speaks for itself. So thank you for being here. It already shows you are interested in managing your money as well. I wish you success in your entrepreneurial journeys. And please remember, as Nedbank, we are here for you to support you on that journey so that you don't fall into these common mistakes like being tricked by debt counselors. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together one more time for Dr. Frank. All right, did we? No, don't go. Oh. Is there anybody who's got a question? All right, so there's one. Question? Yeah, no. We'll your answer. Yeah, we'll get you. Question? 2? Okay, I've got 1, 3, 4. Okay. There's the mic. The buff guy. Yeah, you can start right close to where you. My brother, you wanted to ask the question. Yes. Your name and question for Dr. Frank.
Okay, Sanbona.
Hey, boo.
I'd like to ask the process of...
Debza, how did you go to step? And could be close now, with a question now.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to ask the process of getting out debt review. How long does it take, and what does one need to do to make sure they are cleared?
Good question. What is the process of getting out once you are in debt review, right? So before we answer that question, let's take a step back. A good debt reviewing company, right? They have to check your finances. They have to check your budget. They have to list all that you owe other people out there before they put you in. That's already a sign. If you want to know good debt counseling firm from bad one, they ask you nothing. They just do the paperwork, they put you in. A good one says, let us check, do you have a car loan, do you have a personal loan? Let's look at your budget, etc., right? So look out for that, right? Good and bad. Once you are in, legally, it's saying you have so much debt you're not able to pay it, right? Once you are in, how do you get out? Interesting things happen. Number one, because it's a legal process that you have entered into, you only exit when you have paid every one of those you owe. Clothing account, a bank personal loan, a credit card, a car loan. The only thing that doesn't go into debt cancelling is your home. Just the law doesn't allow the house or the home loan to be included there. So the only time you get out is when you have paid every single one. Not only that, but for you, what do you have? You have a settlement letter. That says you've paid everything. Your debt counselor takes all those settlement letters. He does a report on top of that, together with the settlement letters, goes to the magistrates' courts, they are happy with it, then sends to credit bureaus, then they can remove you. So, those lawyers, you know them. You know the ones that they say, 2.5, we will remove you from blacklisting. No one can do it. It's impossible. Don't waste your money paying lawyers to remove you. No. Use that money to pay your creditors. How quickly can you get out? 3, 4, 5, sometimes 7 years. It depends on how much you are putting in to pay those that you owe. You only come out when you've paid everyone. So it's a good idea. If you have any extra money, put it in the debt review program so that you come out quicker. The good thing, when you come out, you're like starting from scratch. You don't have a bad credit record. No one stops giving you credit because you were once in debt review. So once you come out, you start afresh. So that's a good thing about it, yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And then yeah.
My sister with the white.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to my brother.
Let's go to number 2 there.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you explain more about the hedge fund?
About the?
Hedge fund.
Hedge fund.
Yes.
Oh, that's a complex thing, right? So hedge funds. I think with the time we have, what we can tell you is the following. You know, when we put money in a savings account, what are we doing? Kind of the name tells us, because sometimes we lose it, right? Saving. Saving. We are putting money aside, right? So that when we need it in future, we'll tap into it. Sometimes we call it emergency funds. We call it rainy day money. When we talk hedge fund, but wait, you know there's levels and levels. We are in another level of investment here. We are not talking buying shares. We are not talking putting money in a franchise. No. We are talking high level of complicated investment strategies to grow your money, right? So buying shares is one way. You're putting your money a little bit at risk. It's like, buying a franchise or starting a business, as all of you are doing as entrepreneurs. That's risking your money, right? So when we invest, we're saying, I want this money to grow. And we don't put a full stop. We say, I want this money to grow, comma. I must take risk. For money to grow, I must take risk. So hedge funds involve taking a lot of risk, to try to grow that money. And so for most of us here, probably we should be nowhere near hedge funds at this point in time. We should have rainy money, emergencies. Then we should have money that we are investing perhaps in unit trust, money we are investing in our businesses. If we've got a little bit more, maybe we are now investing in shares here. So hedge funds, Bitcoin, may I add also South Africa's favorite, Forex trading. No! You are not going to make money from there. In the long term, you lose money. No hedge funds, no Forex trading, no cryptocurrency. Those are way risky, people. So, you need to crawl first, walk, then run. So let's just pace ourselves, yeah. Okay? Then there was two more.
All right, so you mustn't underestimate entrepreneurs in the township. Talking hedge, Bob. I know we are here, but we are thinking there, and then they surprise you. Before you ask the question, Dr. Frank, building a credit score as an entrepreneur, practically, how do you do it? What are the 3 steps?
Oh, beautiful question. 3 steps, Bafwed. It's not hidden, it's not complicated. Number 1, a good credit score simply needs you to answer the question, do you pay on time? Remember the data I mentioned? When you say first, the debit order is running, do you pay on time? If you don't pay on time, that's negative for your credit score, number 1. Then we go number 2. How much total debt do you have? We add everything together. The bigger the number, that often is saying, oh, wait a minute, they may struggle to pay back. Do you pay on time? What is the total debt? Then number 3, we simply say, of the total debt, how does it look like? Do we see home loan, car loan, personal loan, credit card? And then we see those other ones, Wonga.com. You know those ones? Hey, I'm at 3,000. You know those ones you quickly get and you think, we see you using all that. We say, hey, there's a problem here. Why do you need so many small loans? So if you have a personal loan, if you're using a lot of those payday loans, that's bad for your credit score. So simply, pay on time, make sure you've got affordable debt, and please don't be like some people we ask, that personal loan that you took, what did you use it for? Hi, guys. No. Please take a loan when you have a need for it and you want to use it. Because just taking too many loans is bad for your credit score. Yes.
Sure. Pay the agreed amount.
The agreed amount. Yes. Yeah. Pay the agreed amount. 100%. Excellent.
Yeah, but we could have agreed Matala side, then what? So we've got 2 more questions.
2 more?
Sister?
So there's 1, 2.
I see a lot of us are writing. Are we learning? Are we enjoying? Fantastic.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Kamala Mokhadi. Dogotela, my question is based on a franchise purchasing.
Yeah.
Does eNetbank offer funding for such? Does Netbank also have other institutions that assist with such? What is the procedure? What are the requirements? And how long is the process?
Okay, excellent. So a bit of technical there. Let me tackle the first one. Like any other company good for the country, we hand on heart. We want to be good for South Africa, right? So definitely, an entrepreneur who comes to us and they want to buy into a franchise, we've got a whole team that looks at that. What franchise? How old is the franchise? Who are the franchise owners, etc., right? They look into that. How long does it take? Depends on the idea itself, what the franchise is. And the beauty is this. We've got our net bankers here. Guys, please, can you stand up so that they see you? They will be here after the session, there in front, right? You can ask them more questions. Please approach them for more details. There they are. These are wonderful net bankers today. So they will answer. There's their table. Go and get more detail. Perfect.
We have 1, 2. All right. Dr. Frank, we've got the last one here.
Okay.
You mentioned something around, paying your accounts, etc.
Yeah.
But then you have entrepreneurs that go to the bank to apply for a loan,
Yes.
and then they denied
Yes.
because they don't have accounts.
Yeah.
Please, can you unpack that? And what accounts? Like, I don't want to go and open an account at some.
Yeah, yeah.
What are some of the accounts that we can look at
Yes.
opening?
Yeah.
That when you look at, you can go, oh, this one is the one.
Okay, good. So what you are referring to is very important, because when you start, remember you register your business. There, I had a few PTYs here. I mean, that business has no history, right? Other than you've registered it. In other words, there's no history of money coming in, out. In other words, you have a business that people are supporting. So what the bank naturally has then to do is, there is the individual entrepreneur with the idea, and they've registered the company. But for me to give them a loan, I need to understand them first, because they're just starting out. And that's where your personal credit score comes into account. You say, how have you been managing money? Is there evidence of you, being able to pay back money? Pay back. Remains of Msholos. Pay back the money. Remember that in Parliament? I don't know why that came to me. Pay back the money. But no, we're not going to go there. So you were paying back on time, right? So what accounts you need to open? Can talk to the bankers in detail. But essentially, as an individual, to build a credit score, it's not about the amount. It's about how you pay a phone on contract. It's your clothing account. It's your credit card. It's, of course, a personal loan. So anything that shows evidence that you paid the agreed amount on time helps build, a credit score. If you want to understand specific account that we can open for entrepreneurs, you can talk to our amazing team. They'll be happy to tackle that question for you.
All right.
Oh, very last one, I believe.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So in the concept of just personal loans and everything,
Yeah.
what would you advise if the bank is willing, if I'm pre-approved for, let's say, 150,000,
Yeah.
and I want to structure that loan in such a way that I get the loan and maybe get a 5 months period or 3 months where whatever I bought for the business is making money.
Yeah.
And if I'm pre-approved for that amount, is there a way I can take that under the business?
Okay, very good and lovely question to close with, because that's one of the biggest challenges entrepreneurs face, right? It's separating personal business from company, right? When Nedbank gives you a loan, they're giving you, the individual, pre-approved 150 because you've got a good credit record, etc., what we have mentioned, right? But the business is a different entity separate from you. If they give money to the business, they can't come and claim it from you. It's a different legal entity. So the other way around, what you're asking, Nedbank can't approve you money as an individual, and then you say, oh, but I want to use it for my business, please understand. They will come to you. They have no interest that you used it for your business, because the legal entity is you who borrowed the money from the bank. So you raise such an important question that you need to disclose that to the bank. Because that's important when you're engaging with your banker, kind of how I plan to use the money, and because often you do that without knowledge, and you think, but no, I'm using it to start a business, they'll be okay with it. They are not okay with it, but they gave you the personal loan, not the business. They're not going to chase the business to get the money, because the business didn't sign on the loan agreement with Nedbank. It's you, the individual. So it's such an important, please, it's for a reason why we need to separate your affairs from their affairs. Is to protect you. If your business is not doing well, then the creditor, the person who owes various entities money, is the business, not you, right? So it's important once you have separated, once you start a business, the affairs of the business, run a separate bank account, to your own personal affairs, yeah. And don't borrow money, start a business, and then you think the bank will understand because it was a personal loan that I funded the business. No, it doesn't work like that. And more info, our bankers are here.
More info, online audience, please also just
Thank
take
you.
the opportunity to tell us what you have learned from this presentation. I think there needs to be like some masterclass on this separating the two accounts.
Yeah, critical.
Because it's so critical to the growth of where we take our businesses.
Yeah.
And I'll share a little bit after on how, yes, you can separate the accounts, but then you don't have an accountability partner because you're the one that's always got the business card.
Correct.
And then you're like, but I'm the business.
It's my money.
It's my money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Any more? We've just got time for 2 more.
Okay.
Question?
2 more questions.
Yes, my brother. Question. Can we get them the mic?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
My name is Rise. My question is, I want to ask if maybe as an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
I have a bad credit score.
Yeah.
Will I able to access funding?
Yeah, so the question is, if I, as an entrepreneur, I've got a bad credit score. So if you are starting out, the business is you, it's very difficult to separate the individual, and the idea is you, right? So because the bank doesn't have all this financial information, it's an idea, we don't know if it will work or not. There is definitely, a need for them to look a little bit at how you have been managing your, affairs as the entrepreneur, the person, with the business. So generally, if you've got a very bad credit score, or you are in debt review, or you have a garnish order, all those various things that make our score lower, it might be difficult, to get funding. Having said that, it doesn't mean don't try, because you can't hide it away. The moment they put your ID number, they'll be able to know kind of what sort of credit score do you have. And then you can engage, and so I don't want to come as Nedbank. We're not saying, don't even think about it. The worst that they can say is no, but a general answer without knowing your specific situation is definitely that at the beginning of a startup, there's a little bit of looking at the individual, and if that individual is a record of not managing their finance well, doesn't matter what happened, through a low credit score, that can also, impact you accessing money to fund your business. Yeah.
Sure. All right, one last
Okay,
question
the
at
last
the back.
one there,
No,
yeah.
Dr. Frank, you're not going anywhere, right?
It looks like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay, I'm enjoying it. I am
Dr. Frank
enjoying
is
it.
Dr. Frank is part of the family. Dr. Frank loves it.
I'm
My
not in
sister
a
at the back.
hurry. I'm not in a hurry.
Carrie, can we get the mic to her?
Let's have one last one. Yeah, we must
Yes,
carry on with
at
our
the back.
program. Last question, yeah. Is it? Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I'm here, guys. If your hand, you were not selected, happy to engage and take questions. We're all here with my Nedbank crew, yeah.
Thank you
but
so
that is
much.
the last question. We're not running away. You can still come and pose the questions.
Okay, morning, doctor. Okay, my question is, I would like to ask, what's the best credit score that one should have? And on the second question
So what's
is,
the best way to?
what's the best
Yeah.
credit score?
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then on the second question is, let's say on your business, then you've got your profit. What is the best way to manage your money? Should you save or should you invest?
Okay, good. All good questions. So let's quickly do the individual. So a credit score, typically in South Africa, they calculate them differently, but generally they are out of 1,000, right? So the closer to 1,000, the better. The higher the number, the better. Like 622, 705, 6, those are all good scores. Whereas 322, 425, those are low numbers. So the lower, it depends where you're getting the credit score, right? They use slightly different range of numbers, but the principles are the same. So the higher the number, the better, closer to 1,000, right? It simply tells them you're paying on time, you've got a good mix, and you've got a good history, as we have explained earlier. The lower the number. The beauty is this. You can have an action plan to improve your score. Within a month, 2, 3, you can actually see it improving. You start paying on time, you reduce a little bit of the debt, even something people don't know. Before it, as bankers, right? I'm calling myself a banker today. As bankers, right? I've just thought about it. I don't often say that. We give you a credit card. It's got a limit. Guys, the limit is not a target. It's not a target. That's paid for your credit score. Yo, they gave me one with 5,000. Let me max it out. No. When we look at you and say, my goodness, credit card, they're using all the available limit. Hey, this is not good. So using your full limit as an example, that lowers your credit score. If you've got 5,000 limit, say, and you're using 3,000, we say, no, they don't seem desperate. Look at that. I mean, there's 1,000 available. They're not even using it. So please, the limit is not a target. I've made that mistake. Please, it's not a target. Okay.
Sure.
And then the last question, savings and investment, the foundation first as an individual. We want you to have money for emergencies, right? So almost like you have the idea that if something happens, I won't need to go and get a loan. So I've got a little bit of money that I can draw, and use, that I can use for my emergencies. So we want you to have perhaps 3 to 6 months of your take-home pay, just as a guideline of money for emergencies. Then we moved to investing. Remember I said investing means I want to grow my money, comma, I must take risk. Therefore, you have a 2-year horizon, 3-year horizon, where you are saying, this money, I don't need it now. I want to expose it to grow through my business, to grow through a franchise, or to investing it in the stock exchange. There's so many products. Even we have tons of them as Nedbank. So please just understand the different reasons. Saving, you're not really exposing your money to a lot of risk, whereas the moment you say invest, you want to grow it, and therefore have a period of time that makes sense, 2 to 3 years. And I must close with this. This is complex, guys. When we are not well, okay, me and my men, sometimes I try over the counter, and then sometimes it doesn't work. Then I go to my GP and they say, what took you so long? Like the other day, my colleagues had bronchitis. It got severe because I was, doing over the counter. But what I want to say is this. When we are sick, we go and get help. The world of money is complex. I've already told you money is emotions. What makes you think you alone, you can manage your money well? What makes you think that? Professionals, CEOs, multimillionaires, they've got financial planners. And then when you say, I do it on my own. Hi, Bafowet. Can I suggest, as an entrepreneur, as an individual, please find an awesome financial planner. We've got them waiting to work with you at Nedbank. It's an accountability partner. It's a person walking the journey with you to better finances. And can we bust the myth right now? And I'm so glad you are also online, right? It has nothing to do with how much you earn. There is no, I'm too poor to have a financial advice. I don't earn enough. No. Please get yourself help. Top athletes have coaches side by side with them. What about us mere mortals, Buffett? What about us? So I'm challenging you to say, if your money story says, I don't have enough to work with a financial advisor, I hope we've busted that myth. As Nedbank, we've got wonderful financial planners. Put them to the test, and you see, they will work with you. For your business, you get a banker, and for your financial planning needs, an individual can help you. Get someone to help you to better financial health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Frank.
Nice. Thank you.
We have a gift for you. No, don't go. There's no money in here. Really. So the gift that Dr. Frank is receiving has got products which we have bought from our exhibitors who are here today. So we're very intentional about the fact that the money must stay here. We must support our own here. Dr. Frank, we're gonna, but you know the drill. I'll hold this for you, né? While I hold that for you, please look straight into the camera so we get